Welcome to Life Planning 101, brought to you by Smart Money Group and Kennedy Financial Services in Eastland, Texas. Tune in every week as we share important information to help you and your family live life on purpose. Insurance, investments, legacy and tax planning, and much more. All covered now on Life Planning 101.
Welcome into Life Planning 101. My name is Angela Robinson with Smart Money Group and Kennedy Financial Services out of two thriving metropolises, Eastland, Texas, and Three Forks, Montana. And I tell you what, it is the 27th of October, 2025. And how about them Cowboys? Horrible. I haven't got to watch much football this year, and I knew Dak was doing pretty good this year. I thought I'd just turn on the game. Oh, I'm just miserable this morning. So anyway, I thought I might write about something a little bit more positive and get us off on a good note for the week. And by the way, I say write because we do coin an article every single week. We publish what is called weekly life lessons. And if you are not subscribed to it, subscribe to it. You can go to our website, www.kennedy-financial.com. We do have an article that we coin. Obviously, we do Life Planning 101, and then we have Black and White Money Market, which I know things are crazy in the markets. You know, Aaron has this saying that when everybody thinks that they are just going to be able to make money forever, it's kind of like people, like monkeys, think they can just throw darts and start making money. Then we've kind of got a problem at our hands. And I know he's been talking a lot about being able to pull some risk off the table and things going on there. So make sure you're listening to Black and White Market Chatter, really, really good stuff. And you're staying in tune. We try to really beef up that newsletter with things that are impactful and important for the clients, the families that we serve. So it's really good stuff. But today, we're going to be asking a question. Is planning for retirement different today than before artificial intelligence? It may seem like a rhetorical question, right? But it isn't. It isn't. And I want to tell you a story. So I came into this business back in 2006. Oh, believe it or not. Yes, 2006. I'm 19 years into the business. And when I came in, I'll never forget, Aaron had this software. So he started in 99, by the way. He is my older brother. But anyway, he started in 99 and he had this financial planning software. And I looked at this thing and I'm talking like it was the clunkiest, most awful. I might as well just not even have had a mouse because it really didn't matter, a plan. And he said, oh, by the way, and we really don't use that. We just use that to present. And it was true. It was very true. When I came into the business back in 2006, we built retirement plans by hand. And at that time, we were doing a lot of retirement classes through a place in Abilene. And I believe we had, I think it was McMurray tied to it at that time. It was a retirement planning solutions workshop. I can't remember. We've worked through McMurray and ACU and Hardin Simmons. I think it was Hardin Simmons actually. And then, out of Wichita Falls and different universities. But we were doing a lot of retirement plans because anybody that came through the 3-night class, at the end of it, we would put this together, which was a great way for me to be able to learn the business and figure out how to build a retirement plan. And we did it by hand, which involved them creating a very solid budget. Okay, that's the first thing. Financial calculators. I mean, it was my best friend. I carried it with me. I literally screeched when I didn't have it. Now I have my phone. But spreadsheets, we'd work off those, and then tons of reconciling. And then that clunky software I talked about was really only to serve in the final delivery of that plan to the couple, right? That's what we use to actually make it pretty in a sense. And if you tried to use that software to create the plan, it would be 100% wrong all the time. Every time. You had to know the system well enough to actually go in and maneuver numbers in order to get the results that you had created and reconciled by hand. So you knew these things were correct when you were doing by hand. Taught me a lot, taught me tremendously. One of the things we always talk about in technology right now, a scary thing, is how much we're getting dumbed down by technology because we're not actually doing this kind of exercise when we're building people's ability to do things. And so it hurts them, right? So I want to fast forward because since that time of that clunky software, we've used a few other systems and they've been good. I think continue to get better with every system. And I think the two that we have used are still out there today and they're making advancements. And we're looking at more today in light of the artificial intelligence advancements, because there's actually softwares out there that could create less time and actually create more interaction with the families that we serve with their retirement plans. But the funny thing is that the truth in 2006 is still the truth today. That the plans still aren't right. You still have to go in and maneuver the numbers to get them to be what they are. And so, we look at this like, okay, time and again, we have a young advisor comes in and they want to start building plans. They want to use the software only. And then you get in there with them and you say, well, what about this? What about this? What about this? And all these things are wrong, right? And so we say, I hate to tell you this, but we're going to teach you the way to do this old fashioned. And we're going to do this by hand. And why are we going to do it by hand? Well, it kind of goes back to what I just said. And I'll give you an example. Let's just say you have a car mechanic, okay? Well, you have this guy off the street. He wants to be a successful car mechanic. And you tell him, okay, you can be successful and you never need to look underneath that hood and you never need to work on that car. Well, we know that isn't true. A good car mechanic has to know how everything works together. It doesn't matter that they have this little box you can plug in and it tells you what's wrong. That helps. That technology helps. And I think that's the environment that we're in today with a lot of our technology is it helps. It helps with the communication. It helps make things a little swifter and faster to get to the root of the problem. But that car mechanic still has to know how everything works together. And they got to have the experience of troubleshooting things, because if they fix this one thing, could it mess up this other thing? And they have to be able to know this. And the more troubleshooting that they've had, the more successful that car mechanic is over time. Well, the same is true for an advisor. Okay, they have to get underneath that hood time and again and incorporate what is quote unquote called the human element, because I'm going to tell you it exists. We can create the perfect retirement plan and it'll never happen. Did you hear that? It'll never happen. I've never seen one retirement plan used exactly like it was designed to use from the beginning. You know why that is? Human element. Something changed. Goals changed. Things changed, which is why keeping that retirement plan updated often is very, very, very critical to keeping it successful. But that human element, that software simply can't solve for. You have to input that. Well, I digress, okay? The point is, what he said. And what I'm talking about is the guy in the 19th century, Jean-Baptiste Alphonse Descartes, gave us this little quote that we use it a lot. And it rings very true. And it is that the more things change, the more they stay the same. The more things change, the more they stay the same. And I kind of have fun with this. So I was looking back 25 years ago, year 2000. And I think about the year 2000, we did have it. I think we had this really horrible computer at the house. It was dial-up internet. You remember the noises, right? Landlines. They were real things. Everybody had our home phone number. I think I should have, put this in there about Nokia phones. I think they were just coming out. Kind of a big deal. Real toll booth operators. Oh my gosh, I was at the Billings, Montana airport and there was a real toll booth operator. I was so excited to have somebody to say hi to. Just never happens. Farewells at an airport gate of departure. Yes, walk all the way into the gate, say bye-bye. Yeah. Toys in and games on cereal boxes. I guess my son was watching something recently and he said, Mom, they don't put toys in cereal boxes anymore like when you were a kid. So true. Cassette tapes, converters for CDs. Remember the little cord that went in your car and you converted it so you could listen, right? Game Boys. Yeah, Tetris was, I did like Tetris and I hear it's making a comeback. I haven't got into it. Don't need to get into it. But that was a big thing, right? The number, in fact, solitaire on the computer. That was another one. It was such a big deal to have a game you could play on a computer. Wow, the times have changed. I think about this, the number of mom and pop restaurants around you versus chain restaurants back 25 years ago, as opposed to today. Like everything's a chain. I get excited when we go places that there's just like something unique, right? And it's not another chain restaurant. buying out of a magazine. Do you remember that? Like you had the little forms and you had to fill out everything, or you could call in your order. A credit card machine that they took manually, chink, 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 chink. Yes. Reconciling your checking account, one of the best exercises ever. Still encourage that for kids today, by the way. I think that's a really good practice to get into to teach people how to run a bank account. The amount of mail in your mailbox. Do you remember like going to your mailbox? You were so excited what was going to come in. And of course you subscribed to magazines. That was a big deal, right? But how much mail you actually got, your statements, your this, your that, nothing you could check online at that time. And many, many more things true 25 years ago that aren't true today. I mean, think of where we are today in comparison to those things. I found this article. It was a really cool little deal. It was about navigating the knowledge of the doubling curve. And you remember Fuller, he did this whole deal about how fast is technology going to double. And the guy was taking that from his study all the way to Musk and what is the changes in that. And this was back in 2023. And it was the latest information I could find on the doubling. And it estimated that our human knowledge is actually doubling every 13 months right now. 13 months because of technology. Well, that was in 2023. And since that time, AI has taken root, right? So they also had a hypothesis in that article that same research was saying that knowledge would be doubling within every 12 hours. And we're just on the brink of that. And I think, with AI, that's so true. I mean, our world, our technology, our updates on our phones, you can't even keep up. It's tiresome, really. I always say when I retire, I am literally going to take my phone and I'm going to go back to the Nokia. That's what I want. But our world is evolving at such a crazy pace. And, we live in a world that's got AI and Bitcoin and what are these things? Blockchain technology, hedge funds, unbelievable amounts of government debt. For another day. Crazy high and long living high stock prices, right? Because that's something new. That hasn't happened since we were talking about 2000, right? And then we're all in a post-pandemic world. We never had that happen. So does this mean that things are different? Absolutely, they're different. They're very different. And does it mean that they are the same? Yes. Yes, it does. And retirement planning is a key case in point for this. So even though my question was, is retirement planning different today than before artificial intelligence? That is not a rhetorical question. In fact, it's the exact opposite of a rhetorical question because it is the same as it's always been. The tools that you're going to use or need to use or will use have changed and will continue to change. And there is no doubt about that. And I tell you what, we are spending a load of time, investment, research into figuring out what those tools are on a constant basis across our firm. One of the things that we're really working on is scaling. And the reason we're scaling is so that we can gain more of this information because as fast as artificial intelligence is taking root and knowledge is taking root, a single man, a single guy shop can't do it. They can't keep up with everything that's out there doing that. So it's very important for us as we're building out our investment team to hire grounds. We're building out our planning team to hire grounds, and we're doing it so that we can be able to attach onto these things. We're going to be hiring a chief technology officer that's just going to be able to help us keep up with technology and help us insert it into our business to keep us sharp so we can keep our focus more on the families that we serve. So absolutely these tools are changing. They're changing to such a rapid pace that, we always say we want to be the competition. We don't want to fight it. And we're still that today, and we're still out there looking for that. So that is not apparent, I think, in today's world, that you could fall behind really fast just thinking that the tools that you're going to use for retirement are going to be the same that they were 25 years ago. It's simply not true. You think about where inflation was 25 years ago. Let's even just take that out of it. You're in a different ballpark altogether where prices are, companies are, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But your retirement plan, one that is going to help you retire successfully and stay successfully retired, it's built on these same tried and true absolutes that have always been needed for that retirement plan to be successful. And that is number one, a solid and truthful budget. You heard that, truthful budget. Okay, I'm going to tell you a little secret here. If we're helping you with your retirement plan and you send us a budget that ends in zeros on every line item, you know what that tells me? You really don't know where your dollars are going. You're estimating. It's just a telltale sign that that's what it is. You can't have a budget like that going into retirement. You really need to know where your dollars are going, because as you go into retirement, life is going to change, and we've got to be able to figure out how to change those dollars from where they're going today to where they're going in the future. And if you miss that mark by even 1%, that could affect your retirement greatly over the years. In fact, take you from being able to have the successful retirement to not one at all. So that solid and truthful budget, we talk about practicing retirement. What's your retirement going to look like? What's that budget need to look like? It's so important. Number two, clear goals. Being clear on your goals. And it's not to say that you have to set your goals before you retire and they can never change. No, that's not it at all. It's being able to be clear on your goals going into retirement. And then if you were to change those goals, we can walk through those what ifs. Remember, that's that human element that we're talking about. Things happen. Things change. And what would that do if you were to do this or if you were to do that? How does that look, right? Number three, having a healthy risk and income plan for your money, okay? I've seen it. 2008, I know we've talked about it on Life Planning 101. Watch somebody with what you thought was a healthy risk tolerance retire, and because they were bored, not ready for retirement, didn't have anything to retire to, they got so focused on their money that they got scared to death and pulled out at the bottom of the market. Yep. Half the portfolio was fine because it belonged to their spouse, and they're fine. Half of it's not. So having that healthy risk and an income plan, okay? We actually have what we call the KFS investment process. We have that coined. We have an income plan that we set up for every single retiree to be able to hedge sequence of returns, downturns in the market. What we're talking about here, making sure that your budget is in alignment and you're not losing sleep at night. That's the most important thing. I mean, what's the point of retirement if you're going to not sleep at night, right? Number four, a plan to address the what ifs and the risks that you're going to face. You have to hedge these things. And if you don't hedge them, then you have a plan for not hedging them. But you have to be in the wherewithal. And this isn't our first rodeo. We've been helping people retire since 1989. So we tell people all the time, look, we haven't lived your life, but we've lived a lot of risks that you haven't even thought of. So part of our job is to bring those to the table and say, what if? Number five, the how-to. How are you going to work all of these things we just talked about, with the knowledge and truth of the economic cycles? Because the economic cycles are still economic cycles. It didn't matter if you were in 19th century John Baptiste era or you're today. It doesn't change. The funny thing about all this is this question. The AI that we have today is driven by our human desire to want to press this button, and it's called easy. Easy. I just want to press the easy button. But I'm going to caution you, when it comes to your retirement, for most people, you get one chance to do it right, to retire successfully and stay successfully retired. So that easy button, I think I'll try this out, see how this AI performs, or you know what, I could just Google what's it going to take for me to live off of this. That easy button is not one I would pursue. And here's why. I've looked at retirement plan after retirement plan after retirement plan. I've talked to advisors out there that press that easy button, and they have trouble down the road with their clients. And you know what? Every single person that follow our processes went through, we take the time. We don't make a dime off of helping an existing client be able to retire successfully and build that plan. In fact, we lose dollars doing it, but we do it. We do it because we have that servant heart, because we know it's the right thing to do to help you retire successfully. We could easily press that easy button and just tell you this says how much money you need. But you know what? We don't do it because we know it's not right. We know that there's all these other elements that have to come into play. And if you aren't pursuing them, you aren't looking at all these what ifs, you aren't looking at this truthful state of where you're at and really understanding what's underneath the hood, your chance of failure is a lot higher. A lot. So the real question is not, is retirement planning different than today than it was before AI? The real question is do you want to retire successfully and stay successfully retired? And if you do, let us help you go through this the right way and do just that. My name is Angela Robinson with Smart Money Group, Kennedy Financial Services, Eastland, Texas, Three Forks, Montana. God bless you. Have a great week and join us right here next week on Life Planning 101, where we are helping people live life on purpose.
Thank you for joining us for Life Planning 101, brought to you by Smart Money Group and Kennedy Financial Services. If you have questions, you can email them to lifeplanning@kennedy-financial.com. Don't forget to learn how our sister company can assist you with all of your tax and consulting needs. You can find out more at briscoeandassociates.com. Be sure to tune in next week for more Life Planning 101. The opinions expressed herein are those of the firm and are subject to change without notice. The opinions referenced are as of the date of publication and are subject to change due to changes in the market or economic conditions and may not necessarily come to pass. Any opinions, projections, or forward-looking statements expressed herein are solely those of the author, may differ from the views or opinions expressed by other areas of the firm, and are only for general informational purposes as of the date indicated. Securities offered through Calton & Associates Incorporated, a registered investment advisor, member FINRA SIPC. Investment advisory services offered through Smart Money Group LLC. Kennedy Financial Services and Smart Money Group LLC are separate entities and are not owned or controlled by Calton & Associates Incorporated.